Shops losing money, owners losing money because they don't even know what they don't even know. Mechanical shops, owners and mechanics don't understand how a body shop operates, what they're billing, why their labor rate is lower and their percentage on parts is lower. And body shop owners don't understand why mechanical labor rate is higher and their parts markup is higher. This is why usually the two shouldn't try to intermix and do each other's work, because they usually both don't know it but lose their ass and give away the farm when they do perform other procedures they don't know. Here's one is a classic example. This is a tool coolant. The guy told me when I noticed this, and he didn't even know. The employee who was working on this one didn't know that this was a second. He only thought this was the only tank. But he did drain both systems, and he told me, he says this one was a lighter color that came out than this one, but they only ordered one type of coolant that goes in here and only a certain amount, and a lot of the shops they'll top off the rest with tap water, you know, that has calcium in it and magnesium and iron and all those things you don't want in your coolant systems. They say, well, the insurance company will only pay so much. And I was trying to tell him, I go, on this vehicle and a lot of vehicles. I mean, in here, there's like 27 vehicles in here right now. And down at the other building, they have another 15 or 20 down there. And I noticed on all the collision work, they don't charge for cooling procedures. They only have a flat rate, or 0.4, whatever it is, for cooling procedures. No, this is a 1.3 labor hour charge on this vehicle. And I go, you have two types of coolants and more than what you got. And they go, oh, but I'm direct and the insurance will only let me charge this amount. They like cap it. Well, that's just fucking stupid. So the insurance tells you how to run your business or how to repair a customer's car when they don't even know themselves. Other than to save money, insurance company definitely going to save their money. So this is how shops now, if you times this, I mean, just in this one building alone, out of the 20 or 30 some cars here, I counted 17 front end accidents in this one, and while I was down doing a recovery on the other one down there, they have 7 front end up to the radiators column. All those are lost dollars. That's all billable. So you're charging, you're being paying 0.4, and the majority of all those new vehicles are anywhere from 0.7 labor hours to like this one, 1.3, and some are even more, and you're only billing 0.4. because you don't know how to do the procedures. Your technicians don't know how to do the procedures. Also notice there's alignment procedures that need to be followed that are different on today's cars than what these older owners are used to, especially owners who've never worked in the field and have no technical training at all whatsoever. They just say, well, the book and the insurance company says this. Are you kidding me? You run your job and you wonder why you can't barely pay yourself and you can't pay your technicians. If you're an employee working for a shop like this who doesn't even know how to bill, your shit for pay that you're getting, that you're complaining about, is because of the guy up above. If the guy up above isn't keeping up with the times of how to bill correctly, everybody loses. The whole team loses. And usually, especially if you're in a body shop, you usually have no education or training mechanically or even procedures wise. You just learned under another guy breaking parts, learning. And unfortunately. And there's so many billable hours on a vehicle. You know, like when most of the ADOS, when done, the procedure-wise, they just want to clear codes and have a piece of paper showing it. They're actually not performing and getting billed and getting paid for all the procedures needed to do it actually correctly. Same with pre and post planning and the code clearing and what's needed on a lot of the procedures. The body shops are completely technically ignorant. And I'm going to say this with a capital ignorant. I'm putting a definition and an emphasis on complete stupidity, lack of total knowledge of all the mechanical procedures that they should be being charged under a mechanical labor rate instead of a low body rate. And the insurance companies know it. They're just getting over on the body shop because they know how the majority are extremely ignorant at all the procedures that need to be done. They just tell them they just don't do it. And the owner just goes, oh, okay, I'll just put my head down and and do whatever they say they will or won't pay me for. That's not how it works, guys. And for the few shops that I do know who absolutely refuse to take on directs and absolutely refuse not to get paid and will hold on to the vehicle until they get paid, and they put it in writing and say, this is the procedures from the manufacturer, this is what we're performing, and this is what you are going to get paid. I've watched cars sit in weeks or months in some shops and get really big payout checks for the storage fee, especially mechanical shops. Got some really good stories on mechanical shops where the insurance companies tried to screw over and tell the owner of the mechanical shop, who actually works in the shop, what they weren't going to pay for, and literally have thousands, even almost $10,000 just in storage because they want to argue back and forth over what's not going to be done, and the insurance company thinks they're going to win. The smart guys know to hold out and say, F you, insurance company, because there's procedures that needs to be done properly on these cars that body shops just don't have the education for. And unfortunately, what I'm seeing is, and I've always seen this, but it's getting worse, body shops saying they can't afford to pay their guys more to keep them. And especially when I see a shop I really like and I see him lose, you know, a young guy that they brought up for the last 2 or 3 years, he finally gets good, and then he leaves to the guy who knows how to write work orders better and make more money so they can offer their employees a couple more dollars an hour. We're not talking a couple more cents, we're talking dollars. And you go, oh my God, how can I give my guy come up with $4 or $5 more an hour? That's because you don't write your work orders right. You're leaving so many things off the table that are profits. You're literally crippling yourself due to lack of knowledge. This is not old school anymore. You were too comfortable for too long running your business. You're only thinking about yourself and your comfort level. You forgot your employees need to get paid. And this is becoming a more and more technical business, more expensive tools than it always has been. But the owner doesn't keep up because he's gotten too passive, too relaxed. And now they've been seeing problems happen with money flow, and they don't understand why, because they are so good at what they did for so many years that just doesn't fly anymore. And this is just a really good example. And I tried to bring it up to the owner. I'm not going to say what shop this is. I like the shop. One of the guys here I've known from another shop for many years, and it's really frustrating, especially when the employee does know there's procedures that should be done and there's money to make, but the shop owner is so stubborn and I gotta suck the insurance company's cock, and that's how it is, and they just put their hands down and just live with it. And those are the kind of shops who wonder why they keep losing employees, or they have disgruntled employees working from, or employees who just give up. The shop environment is created from the top down. I watch good employees get turned into not caring employees because of the atmosphere created by the owner due to lack of knowledge, lack of technical knowledge, lack of knowing how to make money so everybody can make money. And it's really sad. It's just really sad. And I see this a lot in many shops. Not just little situations, much bigger situations than this. And there's some shops I see give away procedures and labor times at a ridiculously low rate. You know, oh, I don't want to cause a problem with the insurance company. Even when they're not correct, they don't want to cause a problem. And it's just a sad story. Ignorance is, you ever remember the sign? There was a poster up of a certain person up a poster, and the motto was, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Well, when it comes to body shops and the procedures that are needed to make money in this business, ignorance, lack of knowledge, is an intentional choice. It's not an option. It didn't happen by mistake. You choose your path. You made your bed. You're suffering. Now lie in it. You made the problem. If you don't educate, look for the people who you might know, hopefully, who can give you some hints how to properly charge the correct amount for procedures that you're not charged. You don't even know they exist. It's that area where many shop owners don't even know what they don't even know. I was fortunate enough to come from a technical background. both college, both trade school, high school, and fourth generation automotive technician. Sent myself to factory training, sent myself to parts suppliers and equipment manufacturers training myself out of my own pocket, my own time off work with no pay, because I didn't want to end up like the owners I used to work for. And that's why I could say used to work for. And all of them eventually went bankrupt because they couldn't keep up the act. You always could tell when somebody never had it going right, when they're struggling, when times get hard and they're the businesses that collapse, you know it was never right in the first place. And they cause the problem themselves. You guys have to educate yourself. I want to see everybody make money. I want to see the technicians make money and not just have their head down like, oh, I can't do nothing. You can make a difference. And if you're a technician, if you've seen this, once you get so good, you'll notice, once you get to a certain level, you'll notice you can't work for anybody anymore. You become unemployable, usually, not all the time. Sometimes you could work out a team if the owner is receptive to him and he's a sharp owner, but most aren't. And they lose their good guy because the good guy gets fed up and is not going to put up with ignorance anymore. He finds out he can make more money by himself or somewhere else than somebody who doesn't know how to ride a tag. All right, that's my rant for today. I'm just been witnessing this more and more, and a few of them hit me this week with, you know, shops that I like, and I want to say something a little more, but some people get offended, and I don't know how to. I have to try to learn how to gracefully tell somebody you need to change your ways a little bit. You get out of your comfort zone, and maybe you have to sacrifice one of your directs for your insurance, and start charging them for everything, and actually become an asshole, because you know what? You're just a number to them. You're just their little bitch. You bend over, and they actually make you grab it and stick it in when you're a direct with a direct repair. There's many shops who absolutely refuse to go direct, and they're usually the guys who retire early and wealthy when they're smart ones. And the guys I've seen over the last several years drop their directs, or at least one of them. They sacrifice one of them and just charging the shit out of them. And then a couple months later, I see them all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and happy and going, I never knew I could make so much money by not having a direct, by dropping one of my directs. They were just bleeding me dry, and I didn't know I could be this happy and have this much more money by not having that direct. I thought all these years I had to have directs. You don't. For a fact, you do not. You can have a few, but don't put all your eggs in one basket, because you're just the working dead. See you guys later.